going to talk about hips today with the foam roller. Before we get started on the foam roller, let's do sort of like a setting of the core, getting acquainted with our body and our breath, and a little bit of hip pre-test. So sitting or standing, just place your hands around your ribs with your best posture. And just take a couple of breaths down into your diaphragm, hopefully getting a little bit of expansion in your back lower ribs. Good, one more breath. Now let's layer on the core. So I like to do that by exhaling through a teeny straw, like pursed lips. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through a little straw. Think of your abs pulling in towards the center. Inhale. Exhale. You may feel like your hip bones are coming together, or you may just feel like you're lifting up with your diaphragm. Any of those sensations are totally awesome. Just to find a little connection with the front, maybe get a little bit of stress off the back. Now, I'm going to use my foam roll for balance. You can use a wall, a chair, something handy that's sturdy. This is not the most sturdy, but it's going to make you work hard. We're going to do a little hip warm up, a minute total. The goal is to isolate your hip joint, meaning the rest of your body should be perfectly still. So, find that core again, push down against a chair, the wall, so you're really stable on your supporting side, and lift the outside knee up to your chest. You know I love some hip circles. So, keeping your core tight, your pelvis stable, open your knee to the side without wobbling any other body part. From here, the axis of your knee is going to pivot to allow your heel to come up. It's really the hip that's pivoting. And then take that whole leg back behind you. Good. And then rotate your knee down. You're going to do a quad stretch. Okay, let's do it one more time. Knee to chest. This time focus on your standing leg. And you think of really being strong and tall upwards and grounded downwards. Open your knee out to the side. Pivot. Take that leg behind you. You don't have to lift your leg any particular height, as high as your body's cool with. And then rotate to that quad stretch. Whew, how did that side feel? If there are any crunchies, afterwards you can do it again and see if you got any better. So, find something to hold on to. Side two, connect with your core, knee to chest. Open to the outside. Pivot your knee. Rotate to the back. Knee down, foot up. Again, knee to chest. This time focus on your standing side. Open to the outside. Pivot. Take your leg to the back. Knee down, foot up like a quad stretch. How did that side feel? Okay, getting onto the floor. I have the softest of softest foam rolls. If you have something that's really hard, you may want to take some breaks throughout because we're going to spend a lot of time on the roll with your body weight. So that's the nice thing about the softer ones, is you can link things together without feeling too much pressure. So you do you, if you need to stop. Where can I buy a roll? You can buy them on Amazon, and I will find it and send you a link afterwards. Okay, so lie with your pelvis on top of the roll. And you want to feel supported with the roll under your hips. Check that out by lifting your knees up and see if you can feel balance with the knees over the hips. And then you can hold on to the end of the roll to make it even more stable. If you need to adjust, go ahead. I don't want you to feel like you're slipping off towards your head or slipping over towards your tailbone. Let's start by rocking the knees side to side. And for starters, just kind of explore this movement. So it can be as big or as small as you'd like. Your shoulders need to be grounded, heavy on the floor. So we're going to start today with loosening up right along the sacrum, which is the bone right at the back of your pelvis. And so I want you to stop your rock just a couple of degrees off center. So you're not all the way over into like the meat of the glute. You're right on the edge of the bone where the bone and the muscles meet. So it should feel like a little more bony, finding the edge of that bone and then rock off the bone. So can you find that border? If you're not sure, just do your best and it'll all work out. All right, now with your knees, make little scissor motions. This is kind of a shearing type idea. So you're moving the muscle against the bone and getting some relaxation on the back of your pelvis. This is where we tend to have a lot of tension that travels through our body in standing and sitting, especially when we've been there for a long time. Pause there, keep the top knee still, the bottom knee only, make little circles. Good, reverse. So now we're moving the muscles that are attached to the hip relative to the pelvis that's nice and stable. All right, let's do the other side. Rock the knees over until you feel that edge of your sacrum. And then start with those little scissors. And again, these are teeny tiny, they're pretty small, so that you keep your knees relatively over the roll. Come to a stop, bottom knee only, make little circles. And then reverse, go the other way. I do about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to the middle. Now you may have already been feeling your abs to support your legs. Let's take a moment and become a little more acquainted with our core. So again, adjust your roll if you need to. I don't want you to feel like you're going to fall off at any time. Place your hands on the ends of your thighs. And imagine you could kind of slide your legs out of your hips. So I'm going to use the heel of my hand to press up and away with my thighs. My core is hopefully countering and sinking deeper into my body as I push up. Sort of like you're going to do a crunch, but you're not going to let yourself crunch up. All right, now if you can, think of sinking your lower back towards the floor. You're not literally going to go very far, but like you're in a hammock, you're just relaxing on a nice sunny day at the beach. And then once you have that core stabilized, think of then tipping your tailbone over the roll, which should cause your lower back to slightly engage. So now you have a strong core and a slightly engaged back. And these muscles in your back are hopefully the deepest layers so that you're really stable from the inside out, not those superficial muscles that tend to get really tired and angry. Okay, from here, we're going to go into a hip flexor stretch. So you need to keep that core tight to allow your hip flexors to stretch. You also need to breathe. If you're not breathing, take a moment. It can be challenging to breathe and find your core at the same time. It's a life skill that we should work on. Pull your one knee into your chest. I'm going to hold my shin. If you prefer to hold under your thigh, that's totally fine. And then with your free leg, reach up and away. Think of like going about 45 degrees out into the top of the wall that's in front of you. And lengthen that leg as far as you like. Your foot can be flexed, pointed, as long as you're reaching, that's what's important. And then lower your leg down towards the ground, keeping your knees straight. If your foot can't touch the floor, once you get to the bottom, rock your whole body forward until it can find the floor. If it's crazy far away, either don't worry about it, or you can put a yoga block, some books under there, to actually have something to push against. All right, once you're there, keep pulling that core in to stabilize you on this side of the roll. Lengthen your leg on the opposite side, and if you can, press your foot down against the floor. You can even imagine the entire back of your leg pushing against the ground so you feel lots of active work in the back of your leg. It's kind of why it's nice to have something to put your foot on if you can't get to the floor. Now your top knee, without changing anything else, can that knee come any closer to you? Maybe, maybe not. and breathe. It should be kind of hard, so if you're getting a little sweaty, totally fine, that's normal. Next, take your hands to the back of your thigh and start to lengthen that leg up only as far as you can go without changing anything else in your body. Hold there, let's circle the ankle. 3, 2, maybe you hear the pops in my ankle. 1, reverse. 3, 2, and 1. Now, keep your knee towards your chest. Can you lengthen your leg any farther? If it says no, that's fine, don't push it. And bring it back in. Take a little break. Pull your knees in, relax. Okay, we're going to do side 2. So we'll quickly go through that sequence we did before to set up. Hands on your knees. Press up and away with your thighs. Your core is going to pull in opposition. Then lengthen your tailbone and tip your pelvis on the other side of the roll to slightly engage your back muscles. Breathe. Pull your other knee into your chest. Send the free leg long and away. Stretch it crazy far, longer than you think you can stretch. There's always a little more room in our bodies that we don't even know about. Find that space. All right, once your leg is long, lower it all the way to the floor. Press your heel against the ground. If you need to, rock your body forward. I'm 4'11", so I definitely have to rock. Your hip flexors tend to be a bit tight. If you have long legs, it might be really easy to find the ground. Okay, so now push your foot into the floor if you can. Think of pushing the entire back of your leg towards the floor. It's not literally going to touch, of course. Keep pulling your core in opposition. If that top knee can float any closer to you, go ahead. How does this side feel? Is it similar? Is it different? Okay, I'm going to move my hands to the back of my thigh. Keep pulling that knee to chest. Straighten your knee however much you can. Nothing else in your body changes. That bottom leg might want to bend, but don't let it. Tell it to stay long and strong. It's going to be tired. All right, circle that top ankle. 3, 2, and 1. Reverse. 3, 2, 1. If you have any more range of motion available in your hamstring, push that heel up and away. Okay, bring that knee into your chest. Give yourself one more moment of lengthening into your hip flexor stretch. And then bring it back in. You did it. That one's tough. Okay, so now let's move the roll out from under you and just put it right at the top of your thighs. This is going to be a little bit of recovery time for a minute. So first, relax, stop working. And then I want you to join the world's laziest symphony. And with your feet, your ankles can be supported on the floor. Do a little like a figure 8 conducting type movement. Conducting the world's laziest symphony. Which is essentially giving your hips a slight gentle rotation in and out. Next, move the roll down a little farther, maybe like mid-thigh. And then maybe the symphony's waking up a little bit. You can have a little more movement here. Just keep rotating those legs in and out. How does your back feel now on the ground compared to when you first were getting onto the floor? All right, one more time. Move that roll down towards the ends of your thighs, just above the knees. And then keep conducting. If you want to lift your heels off in a little bit of elevation, you can. But if you stay down the floor, it's going to be even more relaxing. So your choice. All right. So now we gave our pelvis a little bit of a break. We're going to do a smidge more with your hips on the roll. So I kind of curled up. You can always bridge up and bring your hips there. That's going to be the easier of the options. Okay, so back to where we were. We're going to do two more things here. Bring your knees over your hips. And again, think of sinking your abs in towards the floor, so you're grounded through your abdomen, and also your tailbone. This time I really want you to emphasize tipping your tailbone up and over. You do a bit of an active hamstring stretch. If your tailbone comes up and you tuck your pelvis, you're not going to feel the stretch. I'm pretty hamstring flexible, and I can find it, so you can too. If your leg is like way up here, it's not quite right. So, core is engaged. Use that exhale if you need to help find your abs. Tip your tailbone over, so almost like you're arching your back now. Stretch one leg out. Definitely flex your foot. Reach that heel crazy long. Keeping your tailbone pointed towards the floor, bring your leg up until you feel a bit of a stretch in the back of your leg. And let's add the other leg. Reach the heel away, then bring it all the way up. Hopefully you feel a good hamstring or calf or both stretch. If not, just keep tipping your tailbone over to feel the length of your hamstrings. Just do little teeny scissor motions just towards your face. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring those knees in. Feet on the floor. So now we're in like a bridge position. Plant your feet roughly hip width apart. And as your feet are planted, then think of lengthening your knees away from you. Press your feet into the floor and see if you can levitate your pelvis off the roll. Now, I'm really short, so I'm just sort of unweighting a little bit. You might literally be able to lift, you might not. It's not the point, just find the effort in your muscles. And sink down and relax. Let's do this in several more times. Squeeze and lift off the roll, best you can. And sink down and relax. If you need to adjust your feet, that's totally fine. Squeeze and lift. Now think of, once you're here, pause, lengthen your legs a bit more if possible, and also please slightly hug them towards the midline. Should be challenging, and then relax. 2 more. Squeeze and lift. I feel my abs working really hard here to keep my lower back long. And then relax. 1 more time. Squeeze and lift. And relax. Okay, you did most of the hard work. So come on off your roll. Let's go to some inner thighs. This is something I like to do at least once a month, especially if I've been working really hard or doing new things, new challenging things. So, sort of like you're lying in bed with your roll, bring your knee up to about hip height, and then rotate both your pelvis and your trunk, so the whole rest of your body, towards the floor. If your hip feels pinchy, your knee can certainly go a little bit lower, wherever it's comfortable. Step 1, I want you just to explore your entire inner thigh from knee to groin by rolling your leg over the roll. Most likely you're going to find some spots in there that are feeling stiff or painful. If something is really painful, maybe skip that spot. But otherwise, go to probably your most stiff, tight spot that feels like it's not going to make you grimace and tense up. So once you kind of hone in on the stiff spot, pause and let your legs sink into the roll. Okay. Once you've found that spot, found a sense of relaxation, do a gentle rocking forward and back, or side to side really, to sort of just kind of get a little extra active massage on that one spot. So you're getting it from all angles. All right, step 3 can be a little more intense, so optional. You can start to straighten and bend your knee. It seems to be the easier of the 2 options I'm now going to give you. Or with your knee bent, lift your foot up and down. This is sort of pushing your quad away from your inner thigh. That can be pretty intense sometimes. All right, let's find a new spot. To find the second most stiff spot, you might be way up in your groin and maybe near the knee. Mine's usually near the knee. So step one, find the spot and then sink into it. Just relax. Let gravity help you out. Once you feel like your body is kind of melted over the curve of the roll, then you can do a little oscillation. And then if you like, step three, either straighten and bend the knee a few times or lift the foot up and down a few times. This is a sequence that I use for like almost every body part that you foam roll or ball massage. So you can certainly get creative. All right. Let's give it one last little massage through. Hopefully it feels a smidge less tight. You can always find more spots and spend more time. Okay, side two. Cuddle with your roll. It's not to be dramatic, like I just did. Rotate your pelvis and chest towards the floor. Then step one, explore the whole inner thigh, the second side. Once you've found some spots, pick one to start with. Step one, relax. Let gravity do the work and allow your inner thigh to melt over the roll. Breathing always helps. Notice if you stop breathing, it's a habit that you should try to work on, but we all do it, so no judgment, just get better at it. And then rock side to side. Right, the next step, keep your leg in and out, or lift your foot up and down. To be the most time efficient, I would say spend no more than like 30 seconds on each step, maybe even a little bit less time. And you can get a lot of spots in your body done in a short period of time. If you want to, spend a lazy afternoon doing your whole body, that's fine. But for the most part, we need to get things done pretty quickly so we can actually get to the more important parts of our workout. All right, let's find a new spot. And the second best spot. Step one, once you found it, relax. Number two, little oscillations. Oscillations always help us relax. Vibration is a nice healing mechanism. And then kick your knee in and out or lift up and down, your choice. Or you can move your leg any which way. Sometimes I call it giggling. You can just wiggle your foot wherever you want. It's more about getting some movement of that spot that's pinned on the roll. Different angles can create different sensations. All right, come on off of there. Let's hit up our quads in front of the hips now. So I'm going to put my roll underneath my thighs and come into like a forearm plank position. So it can be a little bit of work. Step one is roll yourself up and down. Check out how your quads feel. Now you can just try rotating your legs inwards, so like your little pigeon toed, and that causes your thighs to also rotate inwards. Then rotate outwards, see how that feels. Now we're going to do a fancy sequence where we rotate between these three positions. So let's start forward, let's start neutral, and then roll yourself back. Once you're back, rotate your legs out, like a ballerina, pull yourself forward. Then pause and rotate in and glide back. Ooh. All right, repeat that sequence. Neutral legs, pull forward. Rotate out like a ballerina, glide back. Rotate in, pigeon toe, pull forward. Yeah, let's let's do that whole sequence one more time. Neutral, push back. Rotate out like a ballerina, pull forward. Pigeon toe, roll back. Neutral, come forward. Rotate out, glide back. And then pigeon toe, pull forward. How'd that feel? Let's go all the way to the hips, like to the front of your pelvis. So like where you twist your hips. And then roll a little bit off to the corner. See if you can find anything in the front side of your hips. So like that little teeny pocket in your jeans are that you can't put anything in, maybe like a little key or a quarter. That's the spot. See how that feels. I'm just going to give it a little massage. Using my arms and my foot a little bit to guide the movement. Sometimes you hold a lot of tension here, especially if you're compensating for a weak core or poor breathing patterns, or our hips aren't quite lifting with the right muscles. Okay, other side. Roll through the center to the corner of the opposite hip. Give that little weird pocket spot a bit of your time. Check in with your breathing. Make sure that you're still doing that. All right, let's finish up with the back of the hips. So sit on your butt. I'm thinking like I'm on a campfire, the campfire log. But bring one hand behind you. The same leg that you have the hand behind you. Cross that ankle over your knee. And then I just rest my arm on my leg. I'm going to roll towards that hip and then just massage the back of my pelvis. So now you're really getting into the glutes. Now, if this is something that you are comfortable with and know how to do this, have been doing it forever, try different angles. Like maybe if you rotate your body towards it a little bit more, you might be able to get a little bit deeper into some of the muscles, the muscle meat. All right, side two. All right, so lean back, put your arm behind you, cross the ankle over the knee, give yourself a little massage. Now these are some pretty deep, hefty muscles. If this isn't cutting it, you may want to grab a tennis ball or even a softball and lie your back up in a bridge position, but definitely be nice to yourself. Start slow and let your body melt into it. All right, y'all, let's stand up, see how you feel. And if you have a minute, let's do our post test. So grab your roll or your wall or your chair, stand up tall, lift the outside knee up, open it to the side, pivot, take it behind you, rotate your knee down so you're in a quad stretch. Mine was way easier this time. Knee up, out, pivot, rotate to the back and down. How do you feel? Side two. Knee up, out, rotate to the back, knee down. Okay, repeat. Up, out, rotate to the back, knee down. It's always good to do something more active after you do something on the passive side. That way you're actually going to like train your body to use that mobility. Otherwise, it's temporary. The benefits are just going to be temporary. So if you enjoyed that, awesome, let me know. And if you have been living in a cave, I have an online course launching Monday all about getting to know your posture, your breath, your core, how to move so if you're kind of feeling stiff and crunchy sometimes and not sure how to keep yourself from getting injured, this is the course for you. I'm happy to send you some details. All right, till next week.